guaranteed cut, and Brianna Turner is someone who has started almost every game in her career till.
Angel Reese didn't hold back when Brianna Turner left Chicago for Indiana to team up with Caitlin Clark. She immediately stepped into main character mode, throwing a playful jab. "Oh, so this is what we're doing now," she joked, side-eyeing the camera. Guess loyalty has an expiration date, like milk. The WNBA drama is sizzling, and Reese is bringing the heat.
So, in a kind of a surprising turn of events, the Indiana Fever have made yet another move this offseason, and they have signed Brianna Turner to the roster.
Angel Reese saw the news and had one reaction. Wow. Just wow. First, A'ja Wilson watched the Fever stack talent like an Avengers squad, and now Reese had to deal with it too. Brianna Turner leaving Chicago for Caitlin Clark was the latest twist in a wild WNBA offseason. Turner called it an exciting new chapter, like she hadn't just sent the lead into chaos. Indiana Fever players welcomed her like the final piece to their super team dreams. Even Aaliyah Boston, ever the peacemaker, tweeted, "Let's hoop," as if that would calm things down. It didn't.
Someone who actually broke this story, she said Brianna Turner has signed with the Indiana Fever per the WNBA transition page. Some depth for the Fever front court. Brianna Turner signed a contract with the Fever. Somebody said, so does this mean it's not a training camp? Somebody said, yes, it's basics.
The WNBA isn't just growing. It's becoming a full-blown reality show, only with elite athletes and real stakes. And if the Indiana Fever keeps making moves like this, Angel Reese might have to recruit a super team of her own. Reese had every reason to feel a certain way. Brianna Turner really looked at Chicago, looked at Indiana, and said, yeah, I'm out. And for what? To help Caitlin Clark and the Fever build their monster lineup. The audacity.
It is funny that all these people who hated the Indiana Fever last year is finally coming around to sign with the team. Go figure. Now, I don't know the whole initial thing about this signing, maybe for depth, defensive purposes, but it is funny to see how what a year make when the Indiana Fever is one of the, not one, but is the top team in the WNBA.
Meanwhile, Chicago Sky fans were staring at their roster like an unfinished group project, wondering, so, who do we have? At this rate, it was looking like Angel Reese and a handful of vibes. Sure, they still had Marina Mabrey and Dana Evans, but reality was hitting hard. They didn't even make the playoffs last year, and now they were supposed to believe that running it back, meanest Brianna Turner, would change anything. Chicago's front office kept reassuring fans, we're building, we're patient. But patience doesn't stop Indiana from collecting talent like Pokemon cards. And let's be honest, patience is a lot easier when your biggest rival isn't assembling a super team right in front of you. Angel Reese, though, wasn't about to let anyone count Chicago out. I love it here, and we're going to be just fine, she said, doubling down on her loyalty. But let's be real, fine didn't get them anywhere last season. Fine was sitting at home, watching the playoffs like the rest of us.
I'm going to talk about this Brianna Turner signing, but there's really nothing to talk about. So, Brianna Turner did not look good on the Sky, specifically because we did not need bigs to come off the bench to play defense. We needed bigs to come off the bench and get a freaking bucket. And for me, like, the craziest thing, as I've said before in previous videos, like way back in season, Brianna Turner didn't look that bad coming off the bench, right? The issue, again, is that she came off the bench and played defense. Girl, we need you to come off the bench and get a freaking bucket. And when she did get a bucket, she was efficient at it. She was the most efficient big that we had on the Sky, period. But she just wasn't going out there to look for her shot. She was going out there to be essentially like a passer or just play defense. Like it just really, again, like that's not what we needed specifically.
Meanwhile, Fever fans were already talking. Reckless, they said. I can keep Angel Reese. We've got Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Brianna Turner. The disrespect was loud, and Chicago had no immediate comeback because, really, what could they say? Well, at least we still have who? Because the free agency tracker wasn't looking too kind at this point. Sky fans were watching the rest of the league move like kids watching their friends get new toys. Indiana got Turner, even the Aces made some moves. New York was stacked, even teams like Dallas and Minnesota were making moves. And then there was Chicago, standing in the corner trying to convince themselves that one player could do it all.
So in what might be the biggest surprise in all of free agency, the Indiana Fever have just signed Brianna Turner. Yeah, I think that this is a shock. I don't hate this. I actually don't hate this for the Fever.
Of course, Angel Reese wasn't backing down. She was already talking about how she thrives as the underdog, how she feeds off of doubt. And you know what? Maybe she does. Maybe she takes all this shade, bottles it up, and turns into a menace next season. But let's be honest, she's going to need help because right now Indiana's looking ready to run through the lead like they've been holding a grudge, and Chicago's looking like that one friend who says, "We don't need a plan, we'll figure it out." But where did that get them last season? Oh, right, sitting at home. The Indiana Fever isn't just here to make the playoffs. They're here to take over. They took one look at their young core, saw Caitlin Clark sitting there like a cheat code, and said, yeah, let's go all in. Now, they've got Natacha Howard, Sydney Colson, Sophie Cunningham, Brianna Bonner, and Brianna Turner. At this point, they're not building a team. They're assembling an army.
Fever did not come to play. They are on a mission to win now, like 2025 championship season incoming. They were so quiet during free agency. And in the past 24 hours, boom, boom, boom. Re-signed Kelsey Mitchell to a max deal. Picked up Natasha Howard, bringing her back to the Indiana Fever, where she was originally drafted. And then they just announced a three-way trade sending Alyssa Smith to Dallas and Sophie Cunningham coming to the Fever. This team in 24 hours just got exponentially better.
Stephanie White isn't playing around either. She sees what she has in Caitlin Clark, and she's making sure the Fever don't waste a second of her rookie contract. No, we're building for the future talk. No, let's be patient nonsense. No. Indiana is trying to win right now, and looking at this squad, they just might pull it off. Natacha Howard brings championship experience. Brianna Bonner is a walking bucket who knows how to win at the highest level. Brianna Turner gives them elite defense, and Sophie Cunningham. She's bringing that energy, talking trash, hitting big shots, and making sure nobody disrespects this squad. And let's not forget Sydney Colson, the ultimate locker room glue, keeping the vibes elite while still being that player when the moment calls for it.
In our industry, if you're not a competitor, you're not going to last. And it doesn't have to be to win at all costs, right? It's just how you do what you do every single day. Like for me, as a human being, like if you're leaving your shopping cart out in the middle of the parking lot, I'm judging you. You're not going to be on my team, right? Like, you're not going to be on my team. If I'm watching you and you're on the end of the bench with bad body language and not being a good teammate, like I don't want you on my team, right? It's not really about how many points you score. It's not about, all the stats and the numbers and the figures. It's are you giving everything that you have every day? And it's about being a good human being. Are you a good teammate? Are you helping your teammates up? Are you a good sport? Are you shaking the hands of the opponent? All of those intangible things. Are you looking people in the eye when they're talking to you?
But let's be real. The moment Stephanie White took over, this became Caitlin Clark's team, and she's got a coach who's ready to maximize her. None of that ease her into it nonsense. Clark's getting the rock and the green light from day one. White knows she's coaching a generational talent, and she's making sure Clark has every weapon she needs to succeed. Meanwhile, the rest of the league is looking shook. Aja Wilson already felt some type of way when the Fever started scooping up free agents. Now she might need to hold a league-wide meeting just to figure out how to stop this madness. Teams that thought they had time to prepare for Indiana's rise are now scrambling, realizing the Fever aren't asking for permission. They're just taking their spot. And the fans, Fever fans, are thriving. They've been waiting years for this. No more rebuilding, no more playing for moral victories. Now they get to talk spicy. We're coming for a ring, they're saying, and honestly, they might not be wrong.
What Steph White is doing and what the Fever organization is doing is nothing less than phenomenal, in my opinion. They are taking this young, talented core that they have, with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, and they're adding veteran players that Stephanie White has already worked with. Let's talk about that too, and has chemistry with and knows the work ethic of. And they are building this super team, make no mistake about it, that is going to give you.
This isn't just about securing a playoff spot anymore. This team boasts depth, star power, strong defense, sharpshooters, and a clear vision. With Clark at the helm, the Indiana Fever aren't just showing up to compete. They're here to dominate. Meanwhile, Aces fans are in turmoil over their MVP. Aja Wilson likely woke up, checked the latest free agency news, and let out a sigh. Once again, she's left standing alone. Though Wilson remains as formidable as ever, she can't help but wonder, so it's just me now. Jackie Young and Vibes are there, but the Fever? They're out here snatching up talent like it's Black Friday at a sneaker store. No player is safe, no name is off the table. One day it's Brianna Turner, the next it's Duwana Bonner, then Natasha Howard. At this point, Fever GM might be making offers to coaches next. Hey, Becky Hammond, you free?
Kind of what everybody talked about when we were in the playoffs last year of, we really didn't have much experience at all playing in playoff games. I don't know what the exact number was, but we really lacked in that area. So just adding pieces of, players that have been in this league, they know what it takes to win, they know what it takes to get to the finals, they know what it takes to win championships, I think is exactly what we needed in our locker room. So it's just exciting, but also they're not only really good basketball players, they're really great leaders and really great people. And I know the front office obviously really prioritized that and looking for the pieces that we wanted to add. So really thankful for that.